this is the equipment I use as an athlete competing at the highest level, and today I'm going to walk you through it so you'll know what to use yourself and what pieces of equipment are worth your money. And the first piece of equipment I'll mention are the P-bars to get them out of the way. And these are kind of special to me because I use them in every single workout under the lockdown. I use these for doing bodyweight dips, doing some front lever variations, and even handstand push-ups. And these are perfect if you want to work out at home or if you want to build a calisthenics home gym. What I'll do say is that I don't actually use these anymore because I've transferred to a commercial gym. So here I'm doing dips on a dip bar, I'm doing front lever on a straight bar, and I'm doing handstand on these over here. These are Parallettes from Donation, and I'll be quick to mention that almost all my equipment is from Donation, and I actually reached out to them saying I was going to do this video, and they responded with a promo code for 10% off the entire web shop. So that's pretty cool. Consider taking advantage of it if you are looking to buy some new calisthenics equipment. Alright, but these I use for doing handstands and push-ups with a neutral grip. And I used to have these other P-bars called the Perfect Push-Up that rotated with your wrist as you went up and down. I'll put them somewhere on the screen. At the time, I thought it was better to do your reps like this with the improved wrist flexibility. But now I've learned that when you're doing your working sets, your handstand push-ups, your handstands, or even your endurance sets where you're repping out, trying to reach your maximal output, you want a parallel that's totally stable so you can rep out and be totally sure that it's not gonna buckle, so you can rep out without worrying about a thing. And these are perfect for that. I use these a lot for handstands and push-ups. Of course, you can do handstands on the floor and you can also do push-ups on the floor. But the difference with a neutral grip is that you place it on the bottom of your palm and do it like this. And this doesn't bend your wrist as much, which is healthier for your wrists, better in the long run, and you can also reach a bit better depth with these P-bars. Donation also have some other P-bars that allows you to go even deeper if that is your style of training. All right, moving on, and next I want to talk about chalk. And chalk is one of the products that doesn't really improve the scalability of your exercises and doesn't really give you any new exercises to work with, but it allows you to reach your maximal performance output. For example, when I'm doing a 1 rep max or I'm doing some high performance muscle up sets, I want to make sure that I can reach my maximal performance output on those sets. And what happens when you grab the bar with, for example, a sweaty palm is that, I'll just use this for example, is that you maybe start here with a semi-false grip to engage your forearm, but then because you have sweaty hands, your hands will glide down so you'll hang on by your fingers. And this is not a strong position to be in compared to the semi-false grip. So what chalk does is that it eliminates the sweat in your hands so you can grip the bar better. And in the same ballpark, we have some grip tape here, also from Donation, that you wrap around the bar to improve your grip. This is especially good if chalk is not enough for you, if you're sweating a lot. The combination of these is really, really good. What I do personally is that I use both chalk and grip tape for my 1 rep max attempts, just to make sure that I can put my maximal output out there without worrying about a thing. All right, next we have the regular sports tape, and this doesn't really improve your grip or anything. I use this to cover up my hands if I have sore calluses or if my skin rips. I use this tape to wrap it around my hand so I can just keep on repping. So I always carry this in my bag. Speaking of ripped skin, I also tend to use these. And this is a piece of leather, and these are some carbon pads. So for example here, I put it on my hand, grab the bar, and it makes sure that my skin doesn't rip. And it's the same principle with these two. Take it in my palm, grab the bar, and make sure that my skin doesn't rip. And I feel like this sort of equipment is sort of frowned upon in the calisthenics community, which I think is a shame, because as a calisthenics athlete doing high volume, your hands will most probably rip open, and that can be really annoying, really painful, so why not avoid it? What I'm doing is that I'm doing my working sets without it, I'm doing most of my endurance sets without it, but then as I feel my skin starting to rip a little bit, or maybe I feel that my skin will rip open in a few sets, I start using these in the later stages of my workout, and I do that almost every single pulling workout, so these are actually a staple in my training. Next I want to move on to probably my favorite piece of equipment. Well, there's another one which I'll mention later, but one of my favorite pieces of equipment, the weighted calisthenics belt. So here you have the belt, which you wrap around your waist, and then I combine it with a daisy chain. So I put this in one side and the other side, and then this is what holds the weight when I'm doing weighted muscle ups, weighted pull-ups, weighted dips, etc. And this is a really light material with a few pockets that allow you to adjust the length of the daisy chain, which is perfect if you want to have different lengths for different exercises, which I myself prefer. So for example, in the muscle up, I like my weights to be around knee height, maybe a little bit higher. And for my weighted pull-ups, I like to have, or dips, I like to have them so I can control the weight with my feet. So a daisy chain is really good. It also doesn't weigh as much as a regular fixed chain. And speaking for me personally, I improved my 1 rep maxes by quite a bit just by starting using a daisy chain so I could control the weight in a proper way. Yes. Next, let's talk about rings for a second. And rings is a piece of equipment that improves scalability and provides new exercises. And I use these mostly for accessory exercises like bodyweight curls or bodyweight rows. I don't use these as much anymore because my goals are related to skills on the straight bar or on the P bar. But if your goals are related to the rings, I would definitely recommend getting these. I will also say that if you're looking to work out at home, these are great. For example, under lockdown, these rings are what allowed me to do pull-ups in my apartment, which was such a luxury for me at the time. Next, let's talk about my warm-up. And in my warm-up, I like to use these and these. And this is elbow protection. And as I mentioned before, there's a lot of sets with a semi-false grip in calisthenics. And this means that the force travels through the arm and gathers here in the elbow. If you did it the other way, maybe in a push-up, the force travels this way and gathers on this side of the elbow. This means that most people training calisthenics will at some point feel some pain in their elbow. And the way to prevent this or reduce the risk of this happening is with elbow covers. This simply keeps the elbow warm. And I buy these during my warm-up. I do my warm-up swinging and stuff with these. Typically, I actually use these for my actual warm-up because these are a bit longer and covers the entire arm. And then if I feel some elbow pain during my sets, I use these shorter versions because these can be combined with the next piece of equipment, which is wrist protection. And for wrist protection, I have quite a bit of different options. First, I have these being Gonation's performance wristbands. What you do with these is that you put them on your wrist, wrap it around it, and then turn it like this, put it under, and then you rotate your wrist and it tightens. Then if you want to loosen it again, you turn the other way and it loosens. And this, alongside the dip belt I mentioned before, is my favorite pieces of equipment. I've had these forever, as you can probably see on the usage and the chalk stains. I've had these for years and they've never once let me down. When I started calisthenics, I started getting some wrist pain, especially when doing handstands and push-ups. So I bought these and it honestly removed the pain like this. And this means that I don't go a workout without some sort of wrist protection. Even when my wrists are fine, I still wear this as a proactive measure and I'll probably never stop using it. But I do have some other sorts or other kinds of wrist protection. I have these. The difference here is that you wrap this around your thumb and then around your wrist afterwards and then tighten it. So this has thumb support as well and you can tighten it by pulling. I bought these because when I started weighted calisthenics and started doing some really heavy dips, I started feeling some slight wrist pain again, and these allowed me to tighten the support even more than these allow me to do. So when I started feeling the slight pain, I switched to these, tightened them a lot, and then when the pain receded, I shifted back to these again. So I shift between these depending on how much support I want. I would say as a general rule, these are all around good. These are best for weighted calisthenics. Then I have this third option. This is just a softer material. It's more comfortable to wear, but you can't tighten it as much. So this is if you just want to do something proactive without sacrificing your comfort. Another staple part of my warm-up is this elastic band. I use these when I do my arm rotations, shoulder rotations for my rotator cuff. These are great and easy to carry around, so I know for sure that I can get a good warm-up no matter where I'm at. As for bands in general, I don't really own any as it is right now. Bands are great for improving the scalability of your exercises. For example, if you want to do some muscle ups but you can't get over the bar yet, you can add a band, do it like that. If you want to learn the pull-up, you can add a band according to your strength level and rep out and do the reps like that. I will say about bands that the help comes from under the feet. And when you pull in a pull-up or in the muscle up, the force generation comes from your arms and from your lats. So it would be a better alternative to have a friend help you out, maybe stand under your back, place a hand on each of your lats and press from there instead of the band. But that's not always a possibility, and in those cases the band is great. The bands can also be great if you're trying to learn front lever or the planche. You can place the band around your wrist and get support from your stomach, which allows you to really fine-tune the progressions until you learn the actual skill. Then we have the weighted vest, and the weighted vest for me is sort of similar to the P-bars. I use this vest a lot under lockdown. I used it while doing dips, doing push-ups, doing pull-ups for added weight. Now that I transferred to a commercial gym, I use their weight plates combined with the dip belt that you saw earlier, but that requires a fixed place with weights that you can use. And if you're working out outside or at home and don't have any weight plates, then this is the option for you. Alright, one collection of equipment left. And maybe you can see the use case for this. This is weightlifting shoes, knee wraps, and a weightlifting belt. And this I use for doing weighted calisthenics in my leg trainings. And as you probably know, the squat is one of the 3 basic calisthenics exercises. So why not add weight to that exercise as well? And that requires some equipment. And for me, that's some weightlifting shoes, some knee wraps, and my belt. That is really all you need to be protected and do your weighted squats. Maybe not what you expected in a calisthenics equipment video, but weighted calisthenics and street lifting is on the rise. So if you're looking to get into that, then you should definitely consider getting these items. Nothing's left. That was it for the video. Hope you enjoyed. Hopefully you learned something new and found out what sort of equipment fits your needs.